Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark on the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1999 Israeli war movie Yana's Friends. On Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has a 100% fresh rating from the critics and a 72% fresh rating from the audience. It won 10 Israeli Academy Awards, including Best Picture. This movie is gripping, it is enthralling, and it is heartwarming. And there are two love stories for the price of one in this movie, and both love stories are absolutely incredible. So the first love story involves a woman named Yana. She moves from Russia to Israel with her boyfriend, and when they make this move, they end up having a roommate whose name is Ellie. Ellie is a budding young film student who wishes to move to New York so he can go to film school and become a big director. Now, he also loves to have casual sex with random women in their house, so that becomes a thing where Yana constantly hears him with other women. Also, I would say pretty early on in the movie, Yana's boyfriend decides he is going to move back to Russia and he is not going to move back with Yana. He decides to leave her. Now, this is a problem for a lot of different reasons. First of all, Yana is 3 months pregnant. He took out a bunch of loans with her as, part of the person on the loan, so she is in a ton of debt. She's in a country that she doesn't know, that she just moved to, and she has this roommate that she doesn't know who likes to have random women over all the time. There's a very distinct thing in this movie where she tries to leave the country so she can go back to Russia and go back to her boyfriend and go back to the life that she once knew. But apparently in Israel during this time, this is during the Gulf War, they're constantly being bombarded with missiles. They're worried about chemical weapons being used. I don't know if this is always a thing, but at this time in the movie, you have to have papers showing that you are not in debt in order to be able to leave the country and go to a different country, which of course she cannot do because she is in a lot of debt. So she ends up borrowing a lot of money for different reasons from Ellie, and as the war escalates, as things get more and more tense with the war, their relationship also escalates. Where by the end of the movie, as they're being bombarded and they have to wear gas masks because they're afraid of chemical weapons, they're sleeping with each other and they do fall in love with each other. Also, as far as Yana being 3 months pregnant, there is a scene in the movie where her, I don't know if it's her ex-boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend, tells her that she should get an abortion. So she borrows the money and she does, in fact, get an abortion. So that's, I guess, one less thing she doesn't have to deal with. But that is a traumatic thing to have to go through. So she has all these traumatic things going on in her life, and it's really quite amazing how she comes out at the end. I love this love story. I love the arc that she had. I absolutely love all the heartaches and all the hardships that she had to deal with, and somehow at the end she comes out with a lot of help from Ellie. At the end she comes out on top, and her and Ellie do have a fantastic relationship together. Now, the other side of the coin, there's another love story in this movie where there is a man and a woman. The woman has a father, so it's the man's father-in-law. He is old. He's in a wheelchair. He is a military veteran, and they kind of wheel him out into the sidewalk, and they put a sign on him that says military veteran, and they put like a box there for people to throw money in. So basically they're using him as a beggar for money. It's their only source of income. Neither the mother nor the father, or sorry, neither the daughter nor the son work. And they really kind of hammer this home in the movie that the son is a freeloader and that he refuses to get a job and that he just lives off his father-in-law getting free sympathy money. Now, the son puts his father-in-law next to a musician who plays an accordion because he believes that he will get money for both his father-in-law and the money that someone was going to give the musician, so he'll get double the money. Now, the musician is wise to this quite early, realizes what's going on, and this causes a lot of friction between the two of them. Later on in the movie, the landlord of the building that Yana and Ellie is in, she realizes that this older gentleman who is being put on the street to beg is someone that she used to date and someone that she used to be in love with and someone that she had a really great romantic relationship with. And she, as soon as she sees him, she falls back in love with him and she realizes she needs to get him out of the situation where he's being used. So she fights tooth and nail to try to let the son-in-law let her date his father-in-law, let her take him out, try to get him out of the situation. And towards the end of the movie, he finally agrees to let his father-in-law go with her, and they also have a very strong, very healthy, very happy relationship. And so by the end of the movie, you have, I mean, they're still getting bombarded with bombs. There's still the threats of chemical weapons, but you have two really awesome love stories at the end of the movie when it comes together. And it's really heartwarming. It really fills you with a lot of warmth that there's two really good love stories at the end of this movie. I thought this movie was really good. I thought it was great, actually. And what I really like about this movie, and what I think a lot of people don't understand, I don't understand it because honestly, I've never been involved in a war before. There's never been a war since I've been alive in America, but I think, at least not on our soil. I think what people forget is that when your country goes to war with another country, you have this like animosity and this hatred towards the other country. You think that everyone who lives in that country is bad and they all want your country to perish. They all want your country to die. They all want everyone in your country to die. But in real life, how things really are is there's people in that country that you're fighting who are just trying to live their everyday lives. They're just trying to survive. They're just trying to do the best they can, and they really don't care about what's going on in your country. They only care about the fact that their country is being bombed. And I really think it humanizes people really well, and it really makes you think about the feelings and the emotions that these people are going through trying to live their lives while they're being bombed and while they're being constantly bombarded. Most recently, it reminds me of Ukraine and Mariupol when you see all these horror stories of what these people are going through, how many people are dying in the city, how many people are suffering, and it doesn't really hit home because I'm here, and I watch it on the news maybe like a week later, I forget about it. But this movie shows you that it's lasting, it's long lasting, that these people's lives are just terrible every day having to go through this, and I think it really puts things into perspective. I really like that part of it. I haven't seen a movie like this that does that, where it shows normal people in a city as it's being bombarded, as it's being bombed, having to wear gas masks, having to shelter in place. I've never seen a movie like this, and I thought it really did a really good job of what it was trying to say. Fantastic. I also thought the love stories were amazing, and I think this. I know this is going to sound political because it's a politicized view. It's a politicized thing, but there are states in the United States right now where women are not allowed to get abortions for fear that they will be prosecuted. That's just how it is. That's not a political statement. That is what's happening in some states in the United States. With a situation like this is a woman who was in love with a man who wanted to have a child, who they thought they would be financially stable at some point. Everything was going great, and then he just leaves her, and he leaves her in this situation where she has no money, she's in this country she doesn't know. Things are really terrible for her, and she not doesn't necessarily want this abortion, but she knows that if she doesn't do something, that this kid is going to grow up with a terrible life. That this obviously there's other things you can do. There's adoption, whatever. If you want to have the carry the kid to term, there's other avenues you can go. But this is definitely something that it was a hard decision for her, and she ended up making it because she thought in the end it would be the best thing to do. There's a lot of other situations out there where it's more like it something that needs to happen medically that's important to happen. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this country that just aren't able to do it, and I think that that is tragic. I think that option should be there, and it's not. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I know that if people get to this point in this review, it's going to cause a lot of issues. But that's all I have to say is that I think that that it is healthcare basically, and I thought that that was a really tragic part of the movie. It was sad, but I understand why she did it. But I thought that was incredibly tragic. Besides that, I love the way the love story in this movie transpires. I love the way it grows. You can tell that even though Ellie in this movie is like a fan of casual sex with different women, that he does feel love for Yana because he helps her financially, even though he doesn't have to. He, after she gets the abortion, he follows her and he offers to like help her home. There are signs that he loves her, and at the end of the movie when they end up together, it's a really amazing moment. Um, I love the cinematography in this movie when he is when he's taking video of someone. It's in black and white, but the rest of the movie is in color. It's a really neat way to show what he's videoing when, because he sneaks up on people, he hides like in bushes and stuff to get secret videos of people. So it's a nice way of saying, okay, he's now has a camera on them and he's watching them. um, I love when they are able to do that, when they're able to distinguish like what's going on in the movie like that. I thought they did a fantastic job of it. On the other side, I was a little annoyed by the story with the old guy in the chair on the side of the street because I didn't know where it was going. Like I thought it was just filler, like there was no reason for it at all. But then when he ends up having the relationship with the landlord, it's actually a beautiful story. It's actually done really well, and I'm really happy that they included it because it is a heartwarming story of older people rekindling the love that they had when they were younger. And you know, love never dies. If you find that special someone, you know, you always have that feeling for them, and there's always a chance that you guys can get together. I thought it was really good. I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a fine movie. I don't know if I said this yet because I've been talking for like 13 minutes straight, but the only place I could find this movie was the Israeli Film Institute, and I just want to thank them for having it to rent because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to watch it. And not just from a completionist standpoint where I want to completely finish this list of all 100% fresh rated movies. It's actually a really good movie, and I'm actually really happy that I saw it. And yeah, it's an 8.5 out of 10. I hope you join me for my next review, which is going to be in just a few minutes, and that is Toy Story 2. Thank you. Have a great night.